guys, this is CrazyWargamer Christian here with another battle report. This game was between me, Brian, and Steppy of the CrazyWargamerz team. I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick look at all the armies real quick. As you can see, Steppy's army right there has a lot of very assault-oriented troops. He's got a few bloodletters, which are nothing but assaults, and a couple plague bearers. Sorry, I was about to say plague marines. I'm too used to the human forces of chaos. And they managed to hold up quite a few guys in combat following that turn. He also used a squad of demonettes and 2 demon princes. If you notice that blue demon prince in the back, looks very unique even from this distance. We'll do a showcase on it later in a following video, and trust me, it's quite a sight to behold. He also used 3 flamers, which always wreak havoc no matter where they're at. And he also used his Lord of Change and a Nurgle Herald along with Skulltaker. Those guys did enough damage in and of themselves. Let's go and take a showcase look at my army real quick. As you'll see, I have a smaller force, probably not nearly as widespread. The Terminator Lord in the center there has a Mark of Khorne, Twinlink Bolter, and a demon weapon. That greater demon right there today was playing the role of a Nurgle demon prince. I know, it's quite the opposite, isn't it? And we've got the Possessed in the back, which I can't stress enough are made of spare gene stealer parts with the Mark of Khorne. A squad of Chosen with 2 power weapons, a melta gun, and a flamer, and 5 Khorne Terminators. If you'll notice, the guy in the center there has golden tusks, and the only one with a trophy rack. But we'll do a special on that individual model in a later video as well. I also have a squad of Khorne Raptors and 2 Chaos Space Marine squads, and a squad of Khorne Berserkers with a Skull Champion with a plasma pistol and power axe, and a Rhino with demonic possession carrying the Khorne Berserkers. Never leave them out on the table without a Rhino. Here is CrazyWargamer Brian's army. He's got the Chaplain in the center there that you'll notice. He was playing the role of a librarian today. A Terminator squad with an assault cannon, and the rest had storm bolters, and one had a heavy flamer. He had a squad of scouts, all with sniper rifles, and various squads of regular space marines, as well as Frank the tank, and a squad of Vanguard veterans, and a squad of Stern Guard veterans, a Devastator squad with various weapons that I can't recall at the moment. And we also had Vulcan, of course, with his Honor Guard, which are beautifully done and well modeled, as well as customized to an extreme extent. Let's go and get the game started, shall we? In turn 1, it was Brian's turn 1, and he deployed first, getting his guys out there, holding the objective, keeping his Devastators back, and his Terminators also staying in as well. He got Vulcan onto the field as well, holding off his corner. The game was a Sieze Ground game, deployed as a spearhead. Steppy, of course, not having to follow the average deployment rules because he's demons and they don't follow any of those deployment rules. And in that turn, he was holding an objective. Now, following in my deployment, I held off 2 objectives in that, so cleverly placed, and I had everybody on the field. I did not deep strike a single squad, mainly because I don't like the idea of putting my squads in reserves and maybe waiting till the last minute to get them in when it's way too late. So I don't like having that. I don't like having to wait on that. And in Steppy's turn coming up, he was able to deploy his guys after Brian wasn't able to wound practically anybody. In that turn, Steppy deployed his Demon Prince, his really nice-looking Demon Prince of Tzeentch, and that managed to take out a bunch of the Possessed and didn't manage to kill just about anybody else off. But in my following shooting phase, I was able to gun that thing down, because if there's a tank like that staring you down, you want to gun that thing down as much as possible. You do not want to let that thing stay alive. So it was only through unstoppable firepower and just pure unloading of the clip that I was able to take that Demon Prince out. And then also in my turn, I engaged Frank the tank after he had to come in via drop pod assault with my Demon Prince of Nurgle, who took a wound from the multi-melta, and I managed to go over there and just smack it down without him even dealing a single wound. Pretty much all I imagined, he took that big old sword of his and just whapped him down on his side and stabbed it straight down into him as a dramatic effect. But, hey, he could have puked on him or whatever. His Vanguard veterans came in and managed to shoot him up a bit as well, but didn't manage to kill him. Steppy came in and sadly enough, he left his corn bloodletters in place. He left them there. He did not move them. It was a pure mistake by his part. We cannot stress enough how important it is to move all of your units, especially the assault-oriented ones, in your movement phase. Because if you're just 7 inches away from an enemy, and you don't move and you stay that 7 inches away, and they're assault-oriented, you're screwed. You're going to get gunned down. But I cannot stress enough how important it is to get your guys to move. Steppy would have won that game, I'm sure, hands down, had he moved that squad. It wasn't until his ensuing assault phase that he noticed that he didn't move them. And Skulltaker was left there, out there all by his lonesome there with his bloodletter squad. And then in the following turn, I tried to get my Rhino to run some people over before having to unleash the Corn Berserkers, but all that managed to bring about was a wrecked Rhino with a bunch of Corn Berserkers coming out. And then in Steppy's following turn, his Lord of Change came in and managed to turn one of my Terminators into goop. And my Corn Lord went up to him and tried to assault him, as did the Terminators in my following shooting and assault phases, but didn't manage to kill him just there. My Corn Lord managed to deal 1 wound in the assault phase, and then his Bloodletters charged me, and we killed each other off in a blaze of glory, my Corn Lord and the Bloodletters. I dealt 7 wounds, and he failed 6 of those invulnerables, and there was only 6 Bloodletters left. So I kind of think of it as just corn killing corn, and ironically it comes out in your poop. And then in that ensuing assault phase, my last remaining possessed, fell to a Beast of Nurgle and a Plague Bear Herald. I could not make my armor saves for anything on those guys. So they proved their mettle in that game by taking out a few Plague Bears as well as a few other troops, after taking a whole bunch of crap as well from those breaths of chaos, only being able to stay alive from their vulnerables. After that, after the wrecking result came about, my Corn Berserkers had to disembark, and we engaged the Space Marine squad, held off to the side there, holding the objective, or at least coming close to it, and we just cut them all down to 1 and held them off for a while. In that ensuing assault phase, I did not manage to kill them all off. And then in his assault phase, in Brian's assault phase, he brought Vulcan and his Honor Guard down to bear upon my Corn Berserkers, easily without a problem wiping them out. His Librarian cast Null Zone, which if you're a Space Marine player, you'll know what that is, and that is one of the key points to using against demons. Null Zone can change the game if somebody's got a lot of invulnerable saves. It forces them to re-roll successful invulnerable saves to all models within 24 inches of the Psyker, of the Librarian, considering he's probably the only Psyker you got. The Corn Terminators engaged Skulltaker and killed him off while surviving their own blows themselves from taking from Skulltaker, and Skulltaker didn't manage to kill but one. He only killed one of them. Then Steppy's Lord of Change finished off the Demon Prince after killing off everybody else. And then in my ensuing movement phase, I brought in the Chosen, and they knocked off all of the scouts on that objective and managed to hold it for themselves, but not for long, only for a short time. The Plague Bearer Herald, who is actually just a Herald of Nurgle and a Beast of Nurgle, managed to finish off that one last remaining possessed Space Marine there in Genestealer bits. And also my regular Chaos Space Marines just continued to unload on the Vanguard veterans, just from their hidey little position. They just managed to take out a few of them one at a time. My Rhino didn't move up at all. It was just actually sitting there in the corner. I don't know why I decided to make any notice of the Rhino. The Bloodletters and Demonettes that were all huddled against the Rhino right there were managed to be taken out by the, especially by the Terminators up there in the corner. They just couldn't make their invulnerables, and they just got gunned down. They're very brittle, but if you get them in assault, they're probably going to rip you to pieces. Later on in that shooting phase, in my shooting phase, I was able to take out 4 of the Sternguard veterans, but actually Vanguard veterans, and he managed to make all of his leadership saves, making sure that they held there in their little position for the longest of times. And then in that ensuing assault phase, I managed to take out the Nurgle Plague Bear, the Nurgle Herald, and the Nurgle Beast, and pretty much contested that objective. And I didn't claim it considering they're not troops, but I contested it from him. In Brian's ensuing shooting phase, he shot down all of my Chosen without a single problem. We got destroyed, we got gunned down, and then we ran into impassable terrain, that being the wall right there, and after we failed our leadership and we fell back. That forced us to really rethink our position and then get gunned down even more. And then in the ensuing shooting phase, my regular Chaos Space Marines took out that one last Vanguard veteran. In Stevie's ensuing phase, he held the objective for a while, and then my Khorne Terminator took out the last Plague Bear there and managed to knock him out. As you can see right there by that picture, there was actually a few Plague Bears that engaged me, and I was able to knock them off the objective just a little bit. And then in the final bit of the game, I won. The Chaos Space Marines emerged victorious just because they held on to one objective and contested one. Overall, that was a victory for Chaos once more, but not for the Chaos Demons, but for the Chaos Space Marines. It was a hard-fought match with risks taken, people dying left and right, and unexpected things occurring. Like, for instance, the Plague Bearer Herald managed to take out all of my possessed, all by his lonesome. And also, Steppy did not move his bloodletters, which would have made it very, very, very devastating for everybody out on the field. Frank didn't manage to do much himself, but land a wound on the Nurgle Demon Prince, and Steppy's Demon Princes managed to take out a few of my Khorne Raptors there. Overall, it was a very bloody and very exciting game, but really it was just a matter of somebody holding their ground and firing away. Very few things survived anything. The only things that really held their ground were the Terminators of Brian's and Steppy's Lord of Change. It's the only thing that really held up for a while. My Khorne Lord was immediately wiped out. He didn't do as much as I thought he would. And surprisingly enough, I didn't screw up on my weapon attacks and didn't get hurt in the process. We'll go over demon weapons in a later on video in Chaos Space Marines Tactica, but that's for a later video. So guys, thanks for watching, thanks for listening to me babble once more. This is Crazy Wargamer Christian, signing off.